The Toronto Blue Jays continue to be very busy ahead of the trade deadline as Danny Jansen is being dealt to the Boston Red Sox. Nick, the fire sale continues, and yet another expiring asset going the other way from the Blue Jays. So we'll break that down and much more in this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, everybody? Welcome into Jays Digest. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse. Before we get into the video, we want to let you know that it is sponsored by Rentals.ca, and Rentals.ca is a huge supporter of the Canadian national team, helping them defend their home court, and they've been helping thousands of Canadians find their home floors as well. Canada got off to a great start today, but if you need to rent a condo, a house, or an apartment, look no further than Rentals.ca. They're available in Montreal, Calgary, Toronto, Vancouver, everywhere from coast to coast.
Yeah, and the best part is their website is super clean. It's super easy to use. You can actually go in and pinpoint exactly on the map where you want to move, finding all the options available in your area. So find your home court with Rentals.ca. You can check out their website in the pinned comment and the description as well. And shout out to Team Canada. They literally just won a huge game against Greece. So again, shout out to Team Canada and shout out to Rentals.ca for sponsoring us, supporting us, and also supporting Team Canada. Peter, a lot of videos going down today, and Danny Jansen is now, in all likelihood, headed to the Boston Red Sox, the other Sox series. You can see here, as of the time of recording, the Red Sox are in serious discussions to acquire catcher Danny Jansen from the Blue Jays. Sources tell The Athletic, and a bunch of stuff is going down. By the time this video is up, I would assume the deal is finalized. But again, we're just getting this out as soon as it happened. And Peter, we know the return for the other trade. The Jays got a couple prospects, and we'll be diving into all that throughout the day. It's only so much we can keep up here with the news, but Peter, we don't know what the return is. I will check while this video is going on, but what are your initial thoughts on this? The Jays keep surprising me here today. They traded Nate Pearson. They traded Danny Jansen now, and the deadline's a few days away. Neither of us expected this. You're in parts unknown recording this video. I didn't expect to be this busy with videos today. I love it, but Danny Jansen's headed the other way, not only to a different team, but to a rival.
Yeah, well, I thought it was going to be a chill Saturday for me. I guess not. I've been talking to you more than I have my family on my off day in this week, Nick. But I'm okay with that because the Jays are busy, and we wanted them to be busy. And the trade is actually official. Jeff Passan reported that It's official. We don't know what the return is yet, though. At least I haven't seen anything pop up. So we're going to keep you guys posted on that as this video rolls along. But the fire sale continues, man, and the Jays are showing their hand. They're not keeping any expiring assets. You got to believe that Yusei Kikuchi is the next one to go. And Danny Jansen was a tricky one because although he is an expiring deal and someone that may not re-sign with the Toronto Blue Jays, we were wondering what team will actually go out there and trade for a catcher. We don't see it very often, especially not in a mid-season trade, because you got to go out there and get acclimated to your new pitching staff. You're not walking into a situation where you're comfortable if you're a catcher that is getting traded. But I'm sure Danny Jansen is going to walk into Boston and be their number one guy. He's a fantastic catcher. He's a great game caller. Connor Wong has been having a really good season, but I think Jansen gives you a little bit more in the power department. And that's why the Red Sox ultimately went out and made this trade. Still waiting to see the return. Maybe Reese McGuire coming back to the Toronto Blue Jays. Who knows? Let's hope not. But we still don't know. We'll keep you posted on that. But Nick, another, I wouldn't say surprising move, because I did expect Danny Jansen to be dealt, but I didn't think that it would happen this quickly. And I thought that it would be a last-minute deal just to get some assets back for an expiring player.
Yeah, it's not surprising given where we are now, but if you look back even a couple of weeks ago, we were both adamant about them extending Danny Jansen instead of trading him. But now, obviously, things change for the Toronto Blue Jays. You look at the OPS, it started to decline, but the Jays are truly in sell mode, and we obviously knew, but I don't know how about you, Peter, but I always had that little sense that, hey, maybe Ross Atkins is going to mess this up too and not go out and sell everybody. I'm happy that they're doing this. They traded Jimmy Garcia. They traded Danny Jansen now as well. They traded a lot of their guys, and now we're at a point where they're getting a lot of prospects back. Nate Pearson is gone. They got a couple young prospects back for him. And again, we'll probably have another video or some point, some update regarding the return, but I don't know. It's a different era. They're turning a new leaf of Toronto Blue Jays baseball now. I don't think Vladdy or Bo are going to be traded, but Jansen's gone. Kikuchi is going to be gone. Chad Green at this point has to be gone if they're willing to go ahead and trade Danny Jansen. I do understand that Jansen's on an expiring, Chad Green isn't. But Peter, in all likelihood, this means that they're not holding on to anybody, and it almost worries me that they didn't want to give Danny Jansen an extension here.
Yeah, well, maybe the injuries have a part to play in that, and maybe the Blue Jays have more confidence in some other catchers that are coming up, or have a plan B in the offseason. We really don't know. Or maybe they're going to try to renegotiate with Jansen. I don't know what the plan is going forward in 2025, but I know that the plan for this season is to offload any assets that are going to be expiring at the end of the season, and maybe even at the start of next season. Like you said, it would shock you if Bo or Vladdy were to get dealt at this point, but I don't know. I don't know if I have that same feeling, because they're acquiring a lot of prospects, and only one of them I believe to be is major league ready in Jonathan Clase. So you want to compete next year and you want to surround Vladdy and Bo with more talent, but I don't think these prospects are necessarily the talent that you want to be surrounding them with. So I don't know. I'm not going to rule anything out, because these first couple of days that the Blue Jays have had here at the trade deadline have really shocked me. I haven't expected any of the moves. I obviously expected Jimmy Garcia and Kikuchi to go, but I haven't expected Nate Pearson to be dealt, because he's someone with control. I hadn't expected a Danny Jansen deal to go through this quickly. So a lot of things are happening quickly for the Blue Jays, and I think this is a good thing. They're going to get a lot of assets back at this trade deadline, and I think it's going to accelerate a retool, but it might even turn into a rebuild at this point.
Yeah, and reports are coming out that the Jays are trying to retool for next season to compete in 2025, but he's gone. Danny Jansen is gone. Jeff Passan tweeted, like you mentioned. We don't know the return. And the funny thing is, Peter, we're seeing live tweets right now of Danny Jansen in the clubhouse from 3 minutes ago, because the Jays are currently in a game. Kevin Gausman is trying to go the complete game, but all focus right now, and shout out to Gosse for that, but all focus is on this right here. And again, the fact that Jansen's gone is not necessarily surprising. I still had doubts out of all the players we discussed, Peter. Personally, I thought Jansen was the least likely to get traded among the bunch that were being discussed to get traded. I figured everyone else would be surely gone. But any final thoughts before we wrap up here? This is I'm not going to say I'm shocked, because it makes sense given their pathway, but they've really surprised me so far this trade deadline. And it's not just Ross Atkins, though. The entire MLB is moving fast across the board. Jazz Chisholm just got traded to the Yankees 20 minutes ago for one of their, if not their best prospect behind Jason Dominguez, the catcher who's been lighting it up. Moves are happening quickly, and maybe they hold out for Kikuchi, but once this return comes back, I'm suspecting it was a pretty decent return for this guy, even though the only issue is that the Jays are selling pretty low on a lot of these guys.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We got to wait and see, of course, but I think this is the right thing for the Jays to do. And if you know you're gonna lose the guy for nothing, it's better to recoup some assets, even if they're underwhelming assets, as opposed to not getting anything. So I think this was the right choice by the Blue Jays. They're moving a lot quicker than I expected them to, and they've probably been the most active team at the trade deadline so far. It's been, I wouldn't say minor moves, but they haven't been blockbuster moves by any stretch. It's not like the Yankees acquiring Jazz Chisholm or Randy Arozarena going to the Mariners, but these are moves that definitely shift the landscape of the American League, and I think the Blue Jays are headed in the right direction. It remains to be seen how these returns play themselves out. But if you're getting guys that are controllable and just assets in general for expiring deals, I think that's a positive. It doesn't matter whether or not they pan out, because you need organizational depth at the end of the day. And I think the Blue Jays are doing well in acquiring that, and a lot of outfielders as well. They're getting outfielders, which they do not have much of in their pipeline.
Seems Kikuchi is probably up next, and in a day that we thought was going to be headlined by the Ricky Tiedemann news, boy, were we wrong with that, with a couple of the other trades. But that'll wrap it up. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on this. You can let us know the return in the comments down below, because for some reason, this trade deadline, the returns are taking a long time to come out, 30 minutes to an hour after the deals are done. But we want to get this out to you as fast as possible. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more stuff.